What is up, YouTube family? We are back at it one more again. Welcome to Quintessential Sports, and we are here to recap this past weekend's amazing games. I told y'all it was going to be another weekend of awesome games, jam-packed, full of everything you want to see when it comes to NFL playoff football. We got everything we wanted, starting with that first game, Houston at Baltimore. This was a tricky game to pick. Majority of everybody pretty much knew that Baltimore was going to come out and do the damn thing against Houston, but Houston was such a frisky team. C.J. Stroud was playing lights out. It was amazing to see him in his rookie year come out and get Houston to the second round of the playoffs in his very first year. But him going on the road, playing against the MVP, soon to be Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens, we knew was going to be a very tough task. Baltimore's defense is highly underrated or under the radar, if you will, unless you really know football and watch football and been keeping up with everything. A lot of people don't be talking about Baltimore's defense because they don't have a lot of big names. You're used to the Ray Lewises and you're used to, defenses like the Seahawks that had like Richard Sherman and all these guys. There's really no big names that people really talk about on a grand scale when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. But they have statistically one of the best defenses in history. And that is the real strength of their team. Now, of course, they got the MVP Lamar Jackson on the other side. So that two-headed monster right there is really hard to deal with. And that's why they are the Super Bowl favorites. Houston came in there. They kept it close. The first half, they were right there. It was like 17-10. But after halftime, Baltimore, they put their foot on the gas and put their foot down on Houston's neck and put them in their place. I thought it would happen last week, but Houston came out at home and did what they were supposed to do against another top defense, the Cleveland Browns. They were playing at home, so they had all the hype and the crowd with them and the motivation, and they did what they needed to do. They're doing things that Dallas couldn't even do. It looks like Dallas is not the best team in their own state. That's crazy that Houston in 1 year can come and be better than Dallas. That is crazy. That's music to my ears. I love it. I love it because I hate Dallas. Y'all know I am the number one Dallas hater of all time. But yeah, Baltimore, they looking real strong right now, and they don't even have Mark Andrews. Now, if y'all been following me, y'all been watching me, y'all should know that I predicted that Baltimore would not win the Super Bowl without Mark Andrews. I said that back in like week 4 or 5, maybe it was week 6, but they have so far proven me wrong up to this point. They have turned it up a notch without Mark Andrews, which is crazy. And one of the reasons for that is because Lamar can't just depend on that safety valve of just hitting that big target with Mark Andrews all the time. He now has to spread the ball around. And I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do it, but he's definitely shown me a lot of things. He's definitely showed me a lot of improvement in his game. And that's why he is going to be the MVP. Now, word is that Mark Andrews could still come back in the playoffs. I don't think he will be back for this coming up game, but there's a chance he might come back for the Super Bowl. But at this point, do you want to even insert him and mess up the flow, kind of mess up, have Lamar kind of confused about getting the ball to Mark Andrews instead of spreading it around? Or is he going to be able to incorporate him effortlessly and be able to use Mark as an added weapon and not mess up what they've been doing? That remains to be seen. They got a tough task next week, and we're going to get to that in a second. But the next game that was real interesting was Green Bay at San Francisco. Another great game. Green Bay coming in after they just mollywopped Dallas on the road, and they coming into San Fran, and they wanted to give the 49ers everything they could handle, and they did. They were playing lights out. The defense was balling. They are another underrated defense that was clicking at the right time. Of course, Jordan Love is balling. Their running game, Aaron Jones, the wide receivers. Man, I like that Green Bay team. They are definitely on their way. And once again, it looks like they have picked another quarterback that's just going to fall right into the flow. Just like when they picked Brett Favre, changed everything for them. And then Aaron Rodgers came in right after him. And now you got Jordan Love coming in right after Aaron Rodgers. This is amazing what the Packers are doing up there. But at the end of the day, San Fran is just a little bit too strong. They're a little bit more seasoned. Their defense, they got a lot of weapons. Brock Purdy didn't play necessarily a great game, but they had just enough to do what they needed to do. Brock Purdy did what he needed to do right at the end when it counted the most. He didn't have a great game, but that last drive was amazing. For him to be in his second year and to be able to do it, a comeback drive like that or a game-winning drive right when they needed it the most shows that Brock Purdy is ready for the pressure and he's ready for big time. Now, he's going to have to play better to win this next game and go to the Super Bowl. And, of course, you got to play lights out to win a Super Bowl. So we'll see. Deebo Samuel is hurt. That's going to be a real blow to them if he can't go this coming up weekend. But it remains to be seen. They say he didn't fracture his shoulder, so he might be able to go. But that's going to be a tricky thing. That how much do you play him? Do you sit him out and just save him for the Super Bowl? Or do you go ahead and try to play him and then have enough weeks in between that game and the Super Bowl? Because what good is the Super Bowl, resting him for the Super Bowl, if you don't even win the game to get to the Super Bowl? So I think they got to play him. You might have to use him as a decoy or, design some plays where he could just catch a little screen or whatever and get him out of bounds so he won't get hit. We'll see how that goes. But that was a great game. At the end of the day, Green Bay missed a crucial field goal, and it come to find out they had a real shaky field goal kicker this whole year, and that ended up being their Achilles heel and bit them in the ass. Feel sorry for those guys, but they did their thing. They got Dallas out of there, so I love Green Bay for that. They are cool with me, and they got to the second round, so they got a successful season. And their future looks bright. The other game that was fun to watch was Tampa Bay at Detroit. Man, they were going back and forth. Much props to Baker Mayfield and that whole Tampa Bay team, the staff, the players, because they were playing shaky all through the regular season, and then they got to the playoffs and they just turned shit up. They turned shit up. They weren't scoring a lot of points at all in the regular season, and now they putting up 30 points in the playoffs. Like, they just started clicking. And, they got a lot of players that's still left over from the Tom Brady Super Bowl team. So you had to figure it would kick in somewhere. But to see them put it all together against Detroit on the road, it was a hell of a game. But Detroit came in and once again did what they had to do, playing at home, and got their second playoff win in 32 years. They not only broke the curse and got the first win last week, but now follow it up with 2 wins. So this looks like a whole new ball game with Detroit. We can no longer compare them to all the flaws and failures that they've had over the last 32 years. This is a new regime. They got the new coach. Jared Goff has been balling. They got good coordinators. and the defense was a little shaky, but they did what they had to do to pull the win out. And it's just a good story, man. I love to see teams that haven't been there in such a long time come in and right their wrongs and break all these curses. You know what I'm saying? I hope Dallas keeps their curse, of course. But Detroit being in the playoffs, going to the NFC Championship, man, it's really good to see them doing that. That next game was Kansas City at Buffalo. This game right here was like, when I saw this game, it reminded me of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type matchups, Josh Allen versus Mahomes. And everybody knew that this was the time that Josh Allen needed to beat Patrick Mahomes. All the other times, Kansas City was playing at home. This was the first time you finally got Kansas City where they were looking a little shaky, not as strong as some of their other better teams in the past. And you got them coming to your house for a change, coming to Buffalo. But you also had to know that they are still the Super Bowl champs until somebody beat them. So we saw Kansas City come out and both quarterbacks play up to par. Both quarterbacks did their thing, did what they were supposed to do. Josh Allen had a pretty good game. Pat Mahomes did his thing. Both teams made plays. Diggs has fallen off the map to a degree compared to what we're normally seeing for him. He's not putting up those 100-yard games like he used to, and that was a major downfall for them. But at the end of the day, it came down to another Buffalo Bills miss kick wide right. Damn. You got to feel sorry for Buffalo Bills fans. They just cannot get over the hump, and it comes down to another friggin' field goal, man. And Kansas City does it to him again. Mahomes does it to Josh Allen again. And now Josh Allen goes from having a home, field advantage, ready to go to the AFC Championship. Got Mahomes right where you want him. And then now you lose to him and you got a big monkey on your back. And you can't beat Mahomes, and now he has the worst playoff record in the league, 1-5. Damn. It's amazing how things can go from so good last week to so bad in this week. Same thing Dallas went through. Kansas City did it to him once again. Man, you got to watch out for these Super Bowl champions. They are still the champs. Now you got Kansas City going into Baltimore. The one matchup we all been waiting for. Pat Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Now, this is the game that Lamar has to get the monkey off of his back because he's only got one playoff win in his career. And you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So what better way to prove you the best than to go up against Pat Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champions? Now, you're playing at home. Baltimore has the home and field advantage. And they got Kansas City still, once again, not looking like their strongest team they've had in a while. But you got Pat Mahomes on that other side that can do some magic too. I cannot wait to see this game. But I think at the end of the day, it's Baltimore's defense. Now, Kansas City's defense is no slouch. That's why this game is going to be so good. But at the end of the day, I think the Ravens' defense is stronger. But the star power on Kansas City, Kelsey, now that they done found Rice, another weapon, they got the other receivers. If they show up and catch some balls, you got Pacheco, you got all these guys, you got Hurdlr. Oh my God. They got the weapons. You got Chris Jones. They got everybody they need to go in there and do the damn thing. And they want to get back to a Super Bowl bad. But Baltimore, they look like the better team. But it's going to be interesting, man. I'm not putting any money on that game. And I cannot wait to see every second of that matchup. That's going to be one for the ages right there. The other matchup, you have San Fran. We have Detroit going on the road to play San Francisco. Now, San Fran's a little banged up, and Detroit, they're hungry, and they are playing to win the games now. They are not playing to lose like they used to. If I had to make a pick, I would go with the home team, but this is going to be an amazing game. You got Jared Goff, who's been to the Super Bowl before. He would love to get back to another Super Bowl, and all he got to do is beat a young Brock Purdy. Is Brock Purdy ready to go to the Super Bowl in just his second year? People are calling him Baby Brady already. Man, that's a hell of a game. I would say, I think everybody's pretty much saying that it's going to be Baltimore and San Francisco in the Super Bowl. I originally picked Kansas City to win it, and I picked San Fran to go on the opposite side. I said, if Kansas City is not in the Super Bowl, I'm picking San Fran to win the Super Bowl. But if Baltimore is in there, they definitely going to be the favorite. So, but I think we can say that these teams are definitely the best teams in the NFL. There are no surprises here, and it's going to be a hell of a weekend. I can't wait. We're going to come back with some more real predictions later on in the week. Y'all leave in the comments. Tell me who y'all like. Till next week, I'll holler at y'all. 100.